And we're live. I want to let you know that I'm here for you. Please let me know if you can hear me and see me before we get started here. And welcome everybody. We've got people from all over, especially all over the United States. We've even got down under represented by a couple of people tonight. It's pretty cool. So can you hear me just fine, I hope? Let me know. Give you a few seconds to catch up. Awesome. All right. So first off, very first thing I always want to do is give you a good, strong, complete tour of everything that's in our Got Backup. And then after that, we're going to have a question and answer session. Okay. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and add my screen. And I'll take myself out of there so all you see is the screen. And you should see the welcome screen of our Got Backup members. Okay, this is a demo account, so it's not going to show any real personal information. And we did that on purpose because YouTube gets all stinky about it if we appear to be showing people's information, even if we do it by accident. But you might notice we're on a welcome screen, and this is a video that I really recommend that you watch. And these are little kind of quick tabs that take you to the same place as you can get to on the left-hand side here. So we're going to go on down this list and we're going to go through each of these so that you know where everything is and how to get started using this. Because the name of the game actually is how fast can you get into action with this program, because it's not hard. This is one of the simplest, reasonably easy places where you can actually not only use these tools but earn an income from it. I'm not going to make any guarantees. We can't do that because it's based completely on what kind of action you decide to take. But I'm going to get you started to make sure you know where everything is and how to do that. And then there's other people that are even better at telling you how to use other things other than our tools. But I'll tell you, the very first thing I always do is I get in there and I start using it and understanding it. And once I do that, I have a lot of confidence to share it with other people. And that's what I recommend that you do. So the very first thing under our Got Backup, which is found under the digital tools, is the Use This Tool tab. We'll go there first. And as you can see, this is, like I said, a demo account, so it's not going to show any information. It doesn't have any files in it because this is a demo. Very first thing you're going to see here is these tabs right here. If you are a Macintosh user, of course, you're going to download the Macintosh. If you have an iPhone, you're going to download this from your phone, get it on your phone, because then you can have it set up to actually be catching all of the new pictures or videos that you're doing on a regular basis. So you don't have to remember whether or not they're backed up because it's going to do it automatically if you get it set up. Make sure and watch these videos. This little orange button, if I click that, I'll show you. It goes to setup and how to get started with in this case, the Macintosh and the iPhone. And I don't have a Macintosh, but I do have an iPhone. So if I were starting today and I didn't have it on my computer, I would watch these videos for my Windows machine, and then I'd come over here to this and I would watch it for the iPhone because that's where you're going to find that. So when you want to know about an Android, if you have an Android phone, that's going to be found down here. So everything to get started is in these videos. So I do recommend that you do not shortchange yourself by thinking you know how to do it. Watch these videos and I promise you it'll help you a lot. So let's get on back over here. Like I said, this is your complete download, watch the videos, and there's also a physical PDF guide And between the two things, you should understand exactly how to get started putting that on your machine, get your setup, because once you have a backup going in your own machine with your own stuff in it, you have a lot more confidence to share it with someone else. Because, yes, I got it done within an hour's time and it works like a charm. And so you can do it too. If you can say that, then you feel comfortable, right? This is also where you would add somebody new that you want to create. All you would have to do is put a username in here, a new one that is what you want to add, and then you would send it to that person by their email. Also, this is how you get to your cloud if you want to see what's going on in your cloud, because you can do more. And I don't know whether you've had other kinds of backup services, but you can do more than just let it go on the cloud and you never see it. You can actually interact with your own files. You can delete, you can add, you can actually create files. We've got a whole system back there that rivals the Google Docs, and it's really cool. But I'm not going to go into that just now at this point. But if I go back here, the next tab down is the reseller tools, and that's where you're going to find your link to share it with other people. If you look at this right here, this is the page we always recommend you most often share. And in order to get the link, you simply just click the button that says copy promo link. If you want to create a tracking link, you simply click that and then add a little bit of information on the back, say like maybe the date. And then if you want to see how that page is doing, you can view it right here. And there is a different set of those for each of these pages. And I do also recommend that you grab this every time there is a webinar. We're now having webinars going just about every minute of the day. I noticed that there's a Tuesday night one for the Italian group, and there's going to be more and more of that going on as well. So if you're part of that, you want to bring in people that are from Italy right now, then grab this and go and be at that webinar. And the way you find that out is to go to the YouTube channel, which you can actually get to by coming down here to the My Business folder. And if you go to the webinar replays right here, I'm going a little out of order, but if you click this, I want to show you something that is pretty cool. I'm not the last one on this list right now. We're live here, but look what's happening here. Here's an Italian webinar that's going to happen tomorrow. And there's going to be some for France, and there's going to be some for Spanish, and then pretty soon there's going to be some for just about every conceivable language that you can imagine, because it's only a matter of somebody in the leadership to step up and start doing these. And so this gentleman right here is putting together one for the Italians. And that is as simple as it gets. You don't have to do any of the training. All you have to do is know where that link is, which I'm going to come back to get to it, is in the reseller tools. And that is the third link down right here. No, sorry, second link down right here. You copy this, and it's going to have your username automatically on the back end of it, and you share it with people that you want to share it with. You don't have to do any training at all. You just invite your new prospects and your new team members into our webinars on Monday. I do a lot of training on how to get started, where everything is, and to make you feel completely comfortable with this system. On Tuesday, it looks like he's going to do a presentation in Italy, in Italian. And on Wednesday, they do the cutoff webinar. That's Joel and Mike. And Thursday was somebody, but I don't know whether he's continuing that or not. But there'll be another opening for another language, possibly. Who knows? So we're going to have webinars going constantly, and they'll be going different times of the day. Before you know it, we'll probably have 3 a day. And that'll be pretty awesome because that's how fast Got Backup is growing. So notice also that there is all kinds of tabs across here. Let's look at what they are. We have an awesome set of banners which you can access in two different ways. And I notice now, if you can see, when I get down here at the bottom, oh, okay, I saw them the other day. There was some different ones that were in different languages. Maybe it just they changed it. But if you want to see these in another language, I think that that won't be long before you can see those. One of the things I did recently, because I wanted this one on my blog, but I didn't want all of the code. So what I did is I saved this on my computer. You can actually save this, and let me show you what I did with it. This is my blog, and this is a Got Backup program right here. You can see it's an actual webinar. It's actually one of the webinars I did recently, and here is one of our banners. But let me go back to my actual blog page so that we can get to the newest one. And if I go here, you can see, oops, I've got the wrong one in here. I've got to fix that. But anyway, I have actually put those banners in there. And what happens with those banners, if I go back, let me go back a little further because I must have messed up on just a couple of pages. But if I go back here to say this one, I'm sure it's correct. Yep, there it is. This is that same banner that you just saw me copy. And if I click it, guess where it goes? I have it set up ahead of time. I have it linked to my tour page. And you can do that too. It's really simple and easy to do. So it's just a matter of doing that or using the code that's in here, which you can click right here to get to. You simply click this and it copies it for you. Then you can put it anywhere you want. You can add it to any place where they allow that. So then the next tab over here is advertising copy. This is like emails or various different things. Now, some of these have links in here a lot of times. And seriously, most emails don't do that well. They go into spam if you use more than 2 links. So I would recommend you actually edit this down and take out a few of the links, or maybe you could even copy a piece of this instead of using the whole thing, and then making your own little comments about what you believe is important to you about the Got Backup program. And we have 5 different choices here that you can use. Here's another cool thing. Here's the pre-enrollee ad copy. And this actually is set up to go immediately into your emails. It will actually select your pre-enrollees. It will put it on your page with what you want to do. Now, there's still a few things you got to do, like put in your phone number. If you have a Skype and Telegram, make sure and put that in there. And then, of course, make sure and put a picture in here. It isn't hard to do, but then you would have this ready to go and send over to your new and pre-enrollees as you start getting them. So let's go back to the Reseller tab. And the last one over here is the social media posts. Now, I've been using a few of these. I really like them. You got to be careful not to overdo it. Don't make it the only thing you're posting on Facebook, or people will ignore you. Make sure you're putting your own story about your life and pictures of your family, pictures of your animals, things that you're doing. But then once in a while, yes, put one of these up. But instead of putting a link in here, ask them to come back and ask you for it. Give them a chance to work a little bit for it. Because let me tell you, when they do not see a link, they're more likely to say, that sounds interesting. I want to know more. And then your object of the game is to get them to message you or comment in some way so that they will want to have a conversation with them. Nobody responds to just a link being thrown at them when they don't know what it's for. So you want to make sure you're being really cautious not to overdo that. In fact, I was in a company where people were just throwing the link all over Facebook and it actually got blocked and nobody was able to put it on Facebook. We don't want that to happen. So please, I caution you, use these banners, yes, use the video memes, but save the link until you've had a conversation with that person. It's really important. Okay, let's go back to our tools. And you'll notice the next thing up after this is actually our lead capture system. And this is really cool. Let me tell you, the very first thing I've been involved with actually the parent company, which is GVO, for over 3 years. It's now 3.5 years. And the first thing I actually had with them is their email system, which is this is part of it. And I wanted to get away from Aweber. I hate Aweber. I don't know if you know about Aweber, but Aweber charges you $500. I mean, every time you get 500 more leads, they charge you another $20 or $25. And so before you know it, your price is way up high on how much you have to pay to have an email system. We're not charging you anything extra. You get to have this for free as part of your system with our family plan that you're paying $9.97 a month for. I mean, this is a steal, and you should take advantage of this. Start getting in the habit of actually sending an email out at least 3 times a week, and I do it actually 5 or 6 times a week. I do it daily. I do what's called a broadcast. I send a broadcast out. What a broadcast is that I send a new email that I write right then and there. It's not canned. In other words, it's not pre written. I write it that day. Like, for instance, earlier in the day, I wrote an email to people about this webinar because I want to invite them to this webinar. I do that every time. In fact, we have enough webinars and replays that you could be writing about that every single day. So don't start thinking that you don't know what to say, because if you're inviting them to our webinars and our replays of our webinars, you're inviting them to something valuable, and they will start to see right away that you are. Instead of immediately saying, come by, come by, come by, instead say, come on over and see how we talk to each other and how we help each other. And that is actually really attractive to a lot of people. They like knowing that there's a community that you are part of in Got Backup that you can share with them, so that it's not just you and that person, it is a whole bunch of people that are in here to help them get started and get started right. So sending them a message is so very important. And I'm just going to show you, I've done this many, many times, okay? So if I go to the actual tab called broadcast, you'll see that I've already got emails in here that I sent. Well, I sent them to myself. I'm actually the only lead in this demo system. But you can see that I've sent some little emails in here, and mainly they are about one of the webinars, right? And or a replay. And that is just as simple as you could really get. Don't worry about trying to sell people. Our company's already doing that. What you want to do when you're sending an email is you want to say, hey, I'm Linda. I'm your friend and I'm your sponsor and I'm interested in helping you get started right. Did you know that we had a webinar last night? Here's the replay link. Now, I don't know of anybody that couldn't handle doing that. It's pretty easy. You don't have to be any kind of weird wizzo to do that. You're being friendly, and that's really important. People like friendly, they don't like pushy. So let's go to the next tab down here, and you'll notice it's called My Business. The first thing in here is the compensation plan. And before we got started tonight, one of the gentlemen was asking how many people does it take. I was telling them that I had earned enough money that I'm going to get a new TV, and it's coming out of my commissions. So, how many does it take before you start seeing a check that you could actually enjoy using? Well, take a look at your commission plan and understand it. That's on this page, okay? And then we have the actual commissions page. This is when people start paying. You're going to see them in here. Now, remember, there's a 4-week lag before you actually get to have that come to you in your money. But it comes in here every day as people start buying and paying for it. And one other thing I pointed out to that fellow is that not only do you have new people if you're offering your tour link to people regularly, not only are you going to see new people that took the tour and are now paying, or they went through the pre-enroll and now they're ready to become a paid member, but what about the next month? Not only do you have the ones that are still taking the tour and the new ones that are becoming paid members, but you have the ones that are paying the second time around. And that starts adding up. And before you know it, you start having a pretty decent little paycheck every single week on a Friday. Now make sure the next tab down here is getting started. You want to make sure that you have either a Payoneer or a Wise account. You can choose, it doesn't matter. They've got them both in here. I've had a Payoneer account for, like I said, the entire time I've been part of this company, which is over 3.5 years. I've had a Payoneer account, and I get paid every Friday off of that account. So it pays like clockwork. It's very, very convenient and good. It really works well. Now, the next tab down here is where you're going to see your current commissions, whatever you got paid. Now, of course, again, this is a demo account, so it's not going to show any real money or real people because we can't do that on YouTube because YouTube would take this video down. But in here, you would see the date and your actual payment, and it would show up in here after your 4-week lag when you start getting paid members. On the next tab down here is the My Downline tab. And on this one is where you're going to see what they call your own power line. The power line is simply the people that you've invited that are your direct referrals. On every Wednesday night at midnight, they move into your holding tank. And you can see right now, it's just talking about it, but there's no holding tank because there's no people in here. But there's going to be a power line, a holding tank, and you'll also see the information about who sponsored you into Got Backup. On this tab right here, you're going to see more detail about the people that have become your direct referrals. Sometimes you're going to see them in the customer tab. Sometimes they might not finish the job, and that's when they're going to show up in the cart abandoned. And a lot of the time, the pre-enrollees will start out in the free tab, but then they move over to the reseller tab. And if you want to see everything on all of it, you can sort it and you can look at it however you want to. Now in the live webinar tab, it gives you the information on all of the webinars that are currently happening. And right now there's 3 that are always happening. The Monday night with me, the Wednesday night cutoff with Joel and Mike, and Friday morning with Mark Seamus, and he's really good. He does a lot of training as well as motivation, and he's very high energy, and he's a lot of fun. He does approximately in an hour, 11 a.m. on Friday Eastern Time. Then again, I already showed you this tab, but this is where you're going to find the replays. And what's good about this is if you click this, say you missed the webinar from last week and you wanted to understand, or you missed Mark's last week or whatever it was, you can go back and watch it. And they're all here from the very, very, very beginning when we first started this. And it's been months now. I think we started this in April or so, March or April, maybe even earlier. I don't remember. But we've now really been building this up. We've got 75 videos in here, and they're all under the live tab. There isn't any static videos that are just being loaded up. We're just doing lives. But that's where you'd find those in there. And then the next tab down is the leaderboard. Now, this is really cool because it gives you an idea of what you can achieve and who's really doing it. But this is kind of doesn't really tell you the whole picture. If you want to know what's really happening, clear up to the diamond. This actually tells you where everybody is at. And if you want to know where I'm at the moment, here I am right here. I'm an emerald. So I used to really pay a lot of close attention to that. I think I was at 700 when I first started because just like everybody else starts in this company, I made my first $20 and that made me a copper or a bronze. And then I made $250 and that made me a copper. And then I made $500 and that made me a silver. And then I made my first 1,000 and that made me a gold. And you can do the same thing. It's not that hard. What's cool is this never goes back to zero. Which is what a lot of like multi-level network marketing companies do, is they go back to zero and nothing shows anymore. But we don't do that with ours. You have an accumulative all time, and that's what makes you reach these levels. So every one of you can do this, whether it takes you 3 years to get to emerald like it did with me, or whether you're like Cassandra, that's an emerald and reaching for ruby, and she did it in a few months' time. Sorry about that. Get a little bit scratchy when I talk a lot. And then there's a few new extra tabs in here that are only in the Got Backup, like the business cards. I just recently got my own business cards. They're really awesome. And of course, the weekly contest, if you want to know what's going on with that, that's down here. That will come and go as we go. But this is pretty cool. It's only showing the top. Right now it's showing 13 people. But they're actually decided to pay up to the 10th place. So there's still one more week. You certainly can participate in that by just boosting a little bit more, maybe even doing some paid leads or something, and get some people going so that you can earn some money. So I have pretty much covered the back office. So let me remove this. So are there any questions? Okay, Sandy, at this point, we only have the 3 days that we're doing webinars. We have not put a Saturday in. I think they want to keep that open, but there might be some for different languages. I don't know later, but at one time I did too, but I'm really actually very comfortable with just doing one. So I think that's what we're doing. And if they did do a Saturday, they would want to do something totally different. And I don't know what that would be at the point right now. I'm looking for questions, anything that you would like help with or you didn't understand. This is the time for that if you have questions. Unless you guys are just feel like I've done a good job of explaining. Okay, Jim is asking, can you partition the storage each member account gets? I don't think you can, Jim, but 6T is a lot of space. And you just have to make a decision. If you think you have somebody that's kind of a storage hog and they would use more than you would feel comfortable letting them have, then consider getting them to go ahead and buy a membership from you, because then they can have all of the space they want. But generally speaking, 6T is really hard to use up. I have a lot of stuff, and I haven't even come close to using up my space. But you'll just have to make a decision based on what you think. If it's like your children, and very likely they're not going to use up a lot of space, but you just have to make up a decision on how much space you're okay with them using. You also have the opportunity to add on. They charge you a $99.99, I think, for an additional 2T one time. Thank you, Gloria. I appreciate you coming. Any other questions that we can answer? I would be glad to help you out with that. Yes, Jim. So 6T is shared between all accounts, and it all depends entirely on you. In my case, I haven't actually shared my account with anybody, and that's really, you have the option of putting that many people in, but you're not required to. That's entirely your own design and how you want to go about you doing it, okay? Where do I watch videos for downloading pictures? Downloading pictures out of where? Out of the back office? I don't know if it's in the setup, but I can go in and share with you how to do that. All right, so let's go back in here. Remember I showed you when I came in here, if we use the tool, right, and we go to auto login, and this actually doesn't actually have any files in it, but what I can do is open up mine real quick for you to show you how you would go about downloading. So, oh, this actually does have a folder in it. So let's say I want this folder on my computer. I want the pictures that are in here. So I would simply go and click this and see these little dots right here next to the action folder. You would simply click that and then click the download. And that would send it to a zipped file on your download folder. And it's as simple as that. Okay. All right. That's a good question. Oh, okay. Thank you, Bob. 2T extra is $129.97 lifetime. Okay, they went up. That's fine. I did actually buy an additional 2T, so I actually have 8T on mine. And like I said, I actually haven't shared with anyone else at this point. And you have the option. It's really entirely up to you whether you want to do that or not. Okay. Yeah, it really depends. Sometimes there's going to be a special for 99, and sometimes there's going to be a special for something else. Just depends, what kind of special they're running. I paid 99 for two additional tea when I wanted to add on. But like I said, it's really hard to use up that much space. You think about it, that's a large external drive uh, uh, based on how much space it is. And that is what you would share with others. And unless you really are using a lot of space, it probably isn't going to be a big problem. And also, I want to make sure I don't forget to do this. Sometimes I do. Make sure if you're brand new, you haven't yet got to become a paid member, to go and do that here. You should have been cookied to somebody that already invited you to this webinar tonight. And that's who's going to get the credit for the payment. Okay, how does sinking for a pre-enrollee work for a poor country? Sinking or paying? Do you mean paying? Which payment process works for that? It depends on the country, Richard. I think that WISE works just about everywhere. And if for whatever reason they can't use it, then they can get with support and they will help them with that. Because our name of the game is we want to make sure that everybody is able to find a payment plan that works for them. We do not use PayPal because PayPal is not very nice to people that have businesses like ours. They are known to freeze people's money. So we do not use PayPal. Okay, looking for more questions. Okay, perfect. Looking for more questions that you might have. And Dr. Jim said that he got a special $99 for 2T extra because he's brand new, and that could be the case. After that, it might be the 129 if someone wanted to add more. Yes, exactly. PayPal is not network friendly. They're not any kind of online business friendly, as far as I know. They work fine for, person to person kind of stuff, but I would not trust them with a business account because of the fact that, like I said, I've known more than one company that has actually lost money to them. And they don't give you your money back, they just hold on to it. So you've tried the broadcast tool and it works great. That's awesome, John. I'm glad you're using it because I think that is one of the major things we have in there that is really valuable, and that is to start communicating with your lead list. The whole point of a sync, yes, is that it will react to whatever you've done on the phone or computer. So, yes, if you delete from the phone, it will delete from your cloud. So what you want to do instead is move files out of the cloud to a different place, maybe get another folder going where you're going to put them so that they don't get deleted, and then when you want to delete it off your phone it won't go away. But something that's synced will actually disappear off your cloud, so be careful how you do that. Another way you can handle it is to discontinue the sync long enough to delete some of your files and then start it up again. But just watch and see what it does. Make sure it doesn't actually delete any of your pictures. You don't want that. How do you back up your contacts? I don't have an idea for sure how, I don't think it actually does back up contacts. But what you can do is you can make a list of them in a document inside of our program with their phone number and email information. And I can show you that if you really need to know how to do that. My feelings are is the best way to communicate with your lead list is to be sending broadcasts out to your emails, all the people that are in your email list, whether they're pre-enrolling or not, doesn't matter. Whether they're new team members doesn't matter. I send them the same email. For instance, like I just suggested earlier, make sure and invite them to the webinars like the one we're doing right now. The more communication you do, the better chance you have for them to start becoming more comfortable with you, more believing that you are a friendly person. And the more friendly you are, um, the more likely they are to be your buyer. So, Yes, I'll go ahead and do that, Ginger. Let's do that. So I am inside of my files right now. Okay, I don't think you know this. Most people don't, but we actually have in here. Not only can you add a new folder and a new file, but you can add a new document, you can add a new spreadsheet, presentation, a new template, or a whiteboard. So let's say I want to create a new document, okay? This is my contacts, all right? So I'm going to call this contacts. And notice it has the DOCX, which is a Word document, X, whatever they call that. So it's going to actually open that in a few seconds here over in our files where I can do some editing with that. So I'm waiting for that to open. It'll only take a few minutes maybe. So hold on a second while we watch that do that. So for some reason it didn't do it. Let's try it again. Oop. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it opened it up and it looks like a Word document. When we see this, it's going to be empty. It won't have anything on it. But if you were to want to create a document that is just your contacts, I would create insert a table. And this is telling how many columns that you want. And so okay, that's not what I wanted it to do. Okay, let's take this out and actually remove that. And let's put a table in here and let's actually insert it with 5. Hello. Okay, well, let's do it this way. Let's go and actually put a spreadsheet in here. So you can play around. You don't have to know everything. It's just like your Google Docs. You go to your files and you actually click here. And I'm going to actually create a spreadsheet this time and call that contacts. And it looks like a spreadsheet, right? Okay, so it's going to open that up. I have started using this instead of Google Docs. What's really cool about this is that when you create a a doc in here, not only are you creating a doc, but it's automatically backed up immediately. So now it's going to put that inside of this program. It's called Only Office, and you all have options to use this. So we're going to say date, name, phone, email. Okay, so I'm going to put my own things in there just as so that you can see how this works. So today is the 25th. My name is Linda Cromar. You can, of course, adjust this so that it gives you space. And I'm not going to put a real phone number in here. And then I'm going to put an email in here. And that's as easy as it gets for actually creating your own contact list. And guess what? You can actually click this and you can open this, or you can copy it and open it into an email. And that's as simple as it gets with that. I hope that answered your question, Ginger. Broadcast is just meaning an email, Mel. Okay, I showed that a little bit later. You should not lose your files if you are syncing them to a new device, but make sure they're in the new device first before they're synced, before you delete them, okay? So if you actually wanted them to go into a new, say like computer, the easiest way is to download them out of the cloud and put them on that computer if you need them to be there. But there's a lot of things you can do right from the cloud, just like I showed you how I did a document just now. You can actually do that, and you don't even have to have it on your computer at all, unless you want to, print it or share it with someone. You can do that. A lot of my contacts are actually set up that way. And what's good about that is it can also become your CRM. In other words, you can put notes next to it on some of the things you've done. If that person is somebody that you're working with, that you're interested in sharing the product with or whatever, you can put a little note next to that. I didn't do that on that spreadsheet, but you can certainly do that. Um, saying, you know, when was the last contact, or whatever you want to do that way. I may have missed this. Can you export your leads to a CSV file? Yes, absolutely, you can. We have that option. But what autoresponder would you want to use it? I mean, we have a perfectly good autoresponder right there in our Got Backup. You don't need another one. And if you use this one, it doesn't charge you more. So you can certainly download that if you want to use another one. But I actually got away from using Aweber because they cost a lot of money and they're not as friendly to use actually than ours. But you certainly have the right to do that if you want to. Those are your leads. You have the right to download them and use them anywhere you want. You have that right. They're your leads. Good questions, though. Keep them coming until you're satisfied that I've answered everything that you can think of. Now, if you're asking if you can upload them into our system, most people cannot do that because of the fact that they would not understand that you did that. And the better way to get people on your list in Got Backup is if they become one of your leads. Okay? Your co-op leads are already on a list in your back office, in your actual lead capture system, Sandy. You don't have to integrate them anywhere. They're already going to be there. They're already in your lead capture system when you become part of the co-ops. That's part of why being a co-op and the Got Backup system was such a value, because they would send them directly to your own list. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. This system integrates beautifully with all of our pages. So you never have to download to bring them over to a page. They're already there if they've opted in. And your object of the game actually is to get them to become a pre-enrollee and opt in, right? And then they're already on your list. So then you can send them things. And you can send other offers, yes. Yes, you can send them other offers. Of course, you have that option. It's available to you to do that. That is your leads. You can send them anything that you want. We're not trying to hold you to just telling them about Got Backup. They are your leads. With the what I know about the co-op system is that they're going to know about basically about the Got Backup system. They're going to be getting some emails that explain the Got Backup system. So they're going to understand a little bit about it. But what you want to do when you send them a broadcast is what you want to do is just introduce yourself to them and let them know that you're the one actually that is involved with the co-op, and that's why they're getting the information, and you want them to know who you are, and then invite them to things like our webinars. So make it real simple, make it easy, make it fun. You don't have to sell people, especially co-op leads. They're already getting our emails. Well, thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that. I actually have lost some weight. I lost about 5 pounds, but I didn't know that that was showing in my face. But I appreciate your saying it. Any other questions or comments that I can help you out with so that you feel really confident? Because the major name of the game is we want you to be confident. We want you to take action. We want you to go and use this product. Make sure that you're getting your own backup going. And then from there, you're sharing it with other people. If you aren't a paid member yet, make sure that you go here and you should have been invited by somebody's link, like the links that we see in our emails, and that cookies you to that person. Any other questions that I might be able to answer for you, let me know. We're coming up to an hour. We try to keep these short. We don't need to run them for hours and hours because people are busy. But I want to make sure that everybody feels completely comfortable with their program and ready to go. So and the main thing is you cannot break it. You can't break it. Make sure that you are always going with it. All right. And Dr. Jim, they actually are cookied forever to you if they cookie to you. I've noticed that some people that I thought were gone come back, and they actually have paid for Got Backup, and they're actually still on my list. Even though I thought they didn't buy, they did buy later on. So they cookie to you for as long, unless they decide themselves to change it. But as far as the company goes, they stay cookied to you. Okay, Mel, it's really not hard to send a message. I will go in there real quick and show you. All right, need to close a few things. Okay, let's go to our lead capture system. Let's say I want to send a broadcast tonight. I'm actually going to send one. You make sure that everybody that's on your list is over here on this side. If you're going to do a broadcast, send it to everybody. And you've got these little templates that make it super easy. And one of the things I like to do, for instance, I'm going to just show you how I would invite people. Let's get how I would invite people to our broadcast. To our webinar. All right. So first off, I've got a little template here. If you have something to put here, that's awesome. If you don't, just delete that. I don't think we need a title. Let's keep that real simple. So we have their name. That's what this is right here. But then we have this space right here that's just filler space. So we're going to get rid of this. And then we would just say something like, "Hi, I am Linda. Glad to meet you. Keep this friendly. Don't be salesy. You don't have to be salesy. The company does that already. You might not know this, but we do awesome training every week. In fact, I do one on Monday." This is quite similar to what I did today, actually. Here is the invite. Give them the link right here. Sincerely, Linda. Now, I want you to notice something here. This is not very long. This is not complicated. This is simple, okay? I'm going to go over and get this link right here and put it here. Now, actually, I don't want it to do that. I actually like to do it like this so they can see what it is. And then that's a finished email. I could send that right now. Make sure and put a subject line in there. You are invited. Something that makes them feel comfortable. Let's not be salesy. You don't have to be salesy. Who doesn't think they couldn't do this? Do you think you could do that email? Deborah, can you do that email? How can I delete failed emails? What do you mean by failed emails? Are you talking about emails that didn't send? There's a little X on the side. You can delete those. I don't usually delete any emails because there's usually a chance to use them again. Like, for instance, the webinar emails. I generally actually send them again the next week. So I don't very often delete emails. Anyway, will they be able to reply to the email? Yes, absolutely, Mel. They can reply to the email. Yes, they can. Your email will be in that message and they can reply to your email. So it is very important that you start communicating right away from the time you have one lead on, okay? From the time you have one lead. I don't know what the background noise is that you're hearing. There is no noise on my end. I even turned off my fan to make sure there's no noise, so I don't know what that is. Might be my gum. I'm using gum in my mouth for the purpose of keeping myself from coughing. You might be hearing that. I'm sorry. But anyway, that's it, unless you guys have any other questions that you need me to answer. I want to make sure everybody feels comfortable. Go out and do it. You have one lead, send a broadcast today. Okay? Send the replay of this webinar to people in your emails. If you're sending personal emails through your Gmail, that's not the same thing as what I was representing there, Mel. So I just want to make sure you understand. Okay, you hear the roulette? You hear a roulette wheel? I don't know what that is because I promise you there's a little bit of noise in my living room downstairs that I can hear, but I have a a sound, um, sound. I have a microphone that is supposed to be blocking those noises down there. Yes, go ahead and send emails. Get used to it. Be comfortable. Just be friendly. Invite them to webinars. Invite them to take a look at the tour. Tell them your personal story. I don't have a fan on, Dr. Jim. I don't have a fan on at all. I turned it off. Maybe it's something that's coming across through the computer system. I don't know. I don't know why that came back. I already answered that email. All right. I think we've handled all of your questions unless there's new ones. And like I said, my computer has a fan. Well, it is possible that you can hear that, but I don't hear it on my end. It's very, very quiet. My computer is really quiet. I'm not sure what you're hearing. To change your username, be careful about that. But what I would do is contact support. Okay? That's the only way you can get a username changed, actually, is through support. You can change an email yourself, but not a username. So you're going to have to check with support on that. And I hope it's important that you truly need to do that, because most usernames are really not a big problem. Just keep the username simple. It's really good if it's your personal name, if you can do that. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Any other questions? Are we in good shape here? Everybody happy? You understand? Are you going to go take action? That's the major thing. Go take action. Get people started. It shouldn't take very long, actually, Sandra, to get set up. It should take only less than an hour. I'm not absolutely sure why you say you're still working on it, unless you got some kind of an issue. But you can check with support if you're having problems with that. But go, 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 get it done, get set up, get going. Because let me tell you, the reason why I'm doing this, it's not because I'm the top earner. Let me tell you why I'm here. I'm the top user. I'm always a big user of everything, and I know that that is one of the major things. If you are a product of the product, and you've heard that before, I'm sure you have, but product of the product with got backup means that you have your own backup going, right? At least on your phone, if not on your computer, you have your own backup, and that's your first step. You make sure you have your own backup going. Okay? Make sure that you understand how to use the email system, and make sure you're sending your emails out from the time you have one lead. Get used to it. Be using it, please. Don't neglect what you have, because you have some really amazing stuff with this program. You can. What the program does is it actually sends out emails to help them understand got backup. What I still recommend, though, is that you do send emails out to tell them about, like, our webinars, and about who you are and why you thought this program was important. You don't have to sell them. You don't have to sell them. You have to let them know who you are, so that they're happy with being part of what you're doing, okay? You're welcome, Bob. I'm glad you came. I appreciate you coming. Thank you, Russ. I'm glad you came. We've got fans that come every week, and they always help. I don't know why there's a noise. It might be YouTube, because there's no noise on my end. I promise you, there's no noise on this end. My fan is not going. My computer is not making noise. There's nothing in my room right here that is making noise. So I don't know. And every one of you is saying there's a different type of noise, which makes me really wonder why that's even happening at all. But I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what to tell you because there's no noise on my end. But anyway, I'm really, really glad that you came. I'm happy. Go over what again, Fran? I don't understand what it is that you're asking. Please go through the replay. I went in detail on how to use the the system. You're welcome, Sandra. I'm glad you came. All right. And you can always come back to the replays. Remember, I showed you where the replays are. You guys have a really amazing evening, and I'll see you again next Monday. So bye for now.